Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. This is our Twitch recap from last week, where we started off with our crew in low Venus orbit, or maybe medium Venus orbit. I don't really know what the delineation there would be. Anyway, we were doing some science harvesting before we were actually going to bring out some of our parts, namely our water purification system, and get that bolted on. But first thing to do was empty out our cargo container and grab a bunch of the sciencey bits from our station, which unfortunately are not action grouped, which is a grave inconvenience. So as we were kind of biome farming, we just went ahead and loaded up as much science as we could, got it into the lab, and got our two scientists working just as quickly as we could. And then it was time to get to construction proper. Well, construction, modification, well, storage swap, getting excess things off of Old Chestnut there and into the storage container here on station. And so, of course, the big one would be this here water purifier, which weighs 3.5 tons but fits in a pocket. And it was somewhere around here where we met our old friend Slippery Handrails. All right, please, yes, grab. No, 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 no. Oh God, here goes all of your thruster fuel. Oh, come on. Why would you catapult yourself? We're probably going to have to jettison this thing. Well, no, if we can get back to the station, we'll put it back in the container. Alright, we're not that bad on EVA propellant, but it is absolutely time to keep that open. Oh, God. We haven't even arrested our away motion movement yet. Oh, we are just bleeding fuel. Come on, 3.5 tons to arrest because handholds are broken. Down, 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 down. Are we coming back? Is it getting larger yet? I think so. With the away motion finally arrested, it was a little bit more of a tactical retreat, as we did have to conserve fuel. This poor Kerbal has been on the drift before, and it was not a very pleasant experience. So it was nice to actually get back to the station and actually be able to grab a handrail, where we then had to bring out 3 other Kerbals because this needs to be a team lift operation. As I mentioned before, that water purifier thingy weighs about 3.5, or masses about 3.5 tons. So 1 Kerbal per ton. It's going to take 4 of them on EVA to get this thing bolted into place, but with it finally welded in and switched to operational, the crew will have way more water than they'll ever know what to do with for the duration. They're already sitting on about 7 some odd years of life support from those 2 resupply pods sitting up there, so you know, it's nice that they can conserve less, and any future resupply pods won't have to bring as much water. I mean, down by about a factor of a third or so, something like that. Anyway, we will take a couple of quick laps and try to farm in more science using ship manifest to transfer it into the laboratory so that our crew there can get working, and eventually do some biome hunting, because I thought we were going to cross over things that were more interesting than the lowlands, the highlands, the midlands. Not quite over the poles, but we will see canyons and I think 1 or 2 others, but we will have to actually snipe them. But with the science crew here loaded up and ready to go, we will switch tasks now over to our Chestnut Block 1M on its final leg of its return home from Mars. This crew has been on station for a very, very long time, and I'm sure they're extraordinarily happy to finally put this whole adventure behind them. 4 of these brave Kerbals have spent more than a year on the surface of Mars, living in a trash hut. The other two stayed on station. They did also get out to visit Phobos and tool around there and gather lots and lots and lots of science for the space program. They're even bringing quite a bit of it home. And you'll see docked to the nose there is our little Odysseus spacecraft. This was the ascent stage from our second crewed landing on Mars. It also took a crew to Phobos and Deimos and helped gather science there. And, well, as the title implies, it belongs in a museum. So we are making the extra dangerous effort to bring this little guy home, since he's, well, served well past his intended service life and gone well above and beyond. And I think our on-surface scientists would really love the opportunity to study something that has been on the surface of Mars, on its side, and on Phobos and Deimos, also on its side. So there's lots of interesting dirt wedged into all those little nooks and crannies, and well, people have spent far longer living in it than it was ever intended for. So that is one of our primary goals for this mission, was to bring this little guy home and do some research and maybe polish him up a little bit and get him in the Smithsonian, because it would be the first time I think we could have recovered something that has been beyond the Earth-Moon system and actually brought it back after it having actually touched down on the surface. So with our final correction node plotted in and adjusted for, we are going to come in at a fairly reasonable periapsis. We will be making a correction about now to make sure that we put this ship inside the atmosphere. We are going to go for a single pass deorbit, but we have quite a bit of excess delta V still in this main engine down here. So we will be lighting that main engine as we get close to Earth to try to help us slow down as much as possible before we hit the atmosphere. That'll take a lot of the stress off the heat shield and hopefully help reduce the G-loading for the crew. So this is us bringing our periapsis down to something that will hopefully deorbit us on a single pass. We will be making a little bit of adjustment to this altitude when we light the main engine, because we can't really slow down without adjusting that angle on that arc a little bit. It just it happens. So you do have to just pay attention to your angle above or below your node versus retrograde. But that's something we've actually done many times before, whenever we actually had the engine delta V to do it. So we'll be transferring just a little bit of fuel around, trying to see whereabouts, trying to get as much thruster fuel in the crew compartment as we can. We'll need that later, and then we'll set up this node here to see just how much that. Well, I think it's 2,000 now. What does that number say? Yeah, accounting for boil off, we'll really be looking at just a bit less than that. But for 2,000 meters per second, we can absolutely capture into Earth orbit without ever having touched the atmosphere. Now we will need some radial out to make sure that we don't go smashing into the atmosphere at an angle that's entirely too steep. So that's a pretty good sign, really. Look at how low our orbit will be when we actually get here after we light up the main engine. Chestnut here has performed above and beyond my wildest expectations for this mission, which I thought was reaching a bit too far and was certainly doomed to failure. Turns out, no. This is quite a well-suited vehicle for the task, if only if it was just a bit easier to dock. So now we're going to be transferring as much of our supplies into the lower sections of Chestnut as possible. This is to get our weight as close to the heat shield as we can. It's the only way this thing will stay stable on reentry is to make sure that we get everything in those lower compartments as possible. And outside of the environmental visual enhancements doing this weird thing with the clouds again, quite a nice view here, coming screaming across the South Pole as you can watch the compass slowly shift as we cross over that 0 point and approach our node, and where we will give that main engine one last light before jettisoning the service module and hopefully having a nice, safe, smooth, low G re-entry with a successful splashdown that lets us successfully recover our Odysseus spacecraft as well. So for all of that exciting stuff, I'm going to go ahead and turn you over to old me live during the broadcast. Alright, 51 seconds, let's light it up. Main engine is a go. God, I hope we don't burn off chunks of this thing. I'll be really sad if we lose our little Odysseus on Earth entry. Oh, nice, Lucy. I hope I can catch, I hope you stream it, and I hope I can catch it when you do. Periapsis is going up a bit more than I would like. So let's roll to node, arrest, and dip. Oh no, now it's at 40 something. That was a change. Oh god, no, that is way too low. Come on. Up, 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 up. Why is it still going down? Oh no, I'm looking at periapsis. I need to look at periapsis, not apoapsis. Oh, come on, Crash. Don't be stupid, stupid. Wow, why are we deviating off so badly? It's like we're very, very, very imbalanced. Alright, let's get that down. Yeah, about 60 some odd, maybe 55. We should be good. There we go. Bring it up. Let's start to make that periapsis go up, please. Go up, please. Thank you. 0 seconds. Alright. So we're going to transfer some fuel from our main stage here into our thrusters, and we're just going to keep them running. Because it is very much time to separate. In. Check. Check. Alright, let's kill the throttle. And we're going to angle ourselves radially so that we don't come back and slam into our main engine stage. Alright, staging. Staging. Staging again. There is decouple. Pull ourselves out. Alright. Good day to you, main engine. It was extra nice. Chutes are armed because tugboot arm chutes. That's all we got. Let's go ahead and kill this node. We don't need it anymore. We're only at 9.2 kilometers per second. We should be, generally speaking, okay to okay-ish. Hatch down. That's enough. Arrest that roll, please, and thank you. Angle in. And we've pretty much vented all the supplies that we need. There's better, at least you aren't diving low. 55 should be a pretty good arrest for this. Electric charge. A little bit of nitrogen tetroxide? Seriously? Really? That's just weird, but okay. And let's push. Yeah, I'll say, honestly, we're going to dump some life support up here. 246? Really? No, they're fine. Even if we have a weird breakup of stuff, we should be okay to okay-ish. Here we go. It is a big boy. 45 tons plus the lander. Black goo is eating the craft. Coming in. Oh, crap. We are atmospheric. Cool. We might get to watch our main engine stage get destroyed. But in the meantime, we are going to flatten ourselves out and try to adjust this angle so as to not squish the crew. But we do have engines if we need to make a second pass maneuver. Oh god, comms! These are expensive. Deactivate. 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 Okay, all chutes should be armed. Here we go. Get the docking port queued to release if things go south. Probably not a bad idea. There you go, we'll just... Goodbye, main engine stage. It's always awesome to watch that happen. Save the lander at all costs, even if your Kerbals die. Oh yeah, say the get out and push maneuver. I would say I don't think anyone's ever actually played Kerbal until they've done the get out and push. There goes the rest of it. Alright, 75 kilometers altitude. Here comes the burns. Let's go ahead and get our... Why can't I adjust my angle into retrograde? It's awesome. We are keeping all of the temperature off of little Odysseus here. How about our blader? Looking good. I don't have Kerbal chutes, Belith. This is 1.1.3 KSP. Kerbals do not yet have parachutes. So if this goes south, it's taking all the Kerbals with them. I'm just gonna sit here and bite my fingers for a little bit. This is way Kerbal. Why, thank you. Still heading down. 1 minute 40 and climbing to periapsis, which is a good sign. 3 point something G registering. Crew seems to be putting up with it pretty well. Oh, there's our deorbit camera change. We're coming home. Let's hope that's not a terrible thing. Let's just start burning off fuel as best we can. .4 kilometers per second. Altitude 53.3 kilometers. Sync rate of about 130 meters per second in climbing. A blader is a blading. Because in 1.1.3 they were brave. Wookie, come on! Yes, but this is not IRL, so the lander will not kill the chutes, and all of our Kerbals will be fine. I am not going to kill 6 more Kerbals today. It's just not a thing, Wook. just not a thing. You've got me absolutely terrified now, Wookie. Thank you for that. I appreciate it greatly. 5Gs. Six Gs. $6.5G. Seven Gs. Oh god. 39 kilometers altitude, 3.4 kilometers per second. 7.5G. Oh, I forgot to check the stats on the chute. God, if these things start popping at 30 kilometers, I'm going to be so mad. Where are the drogues? Info. $9,500. Okay. If that one's configured, we should be okay. Let's be going downwards to deploy. Oh, we are. 1,200. We'll deploy at 1,000. Okay, so far so good. We will be subsonic very soon. We stayed pointing in the correct direction. Fine, let's see how the chutes work. Night Kerbals. We will probably end up jettisoning the heat shield once those chutes start to go. I want to get a solid feel for how much deceleration these parachutes give us, but in the meantime, we're going to try to bleed off as much of this aerosine and nitrogen tetroxide as we can. 16 kilometers altitude, 200 meters per second. Where are we, by the way? Yep, ocean. Perfect. Just off the coast of New Zealand somewhere. It just doesn't look like water from up here, but I think that's just the cloud rendering being weird. I appreciate your photo confidence, Bushwookie. At least somebody here has my back. Let's, how much? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna run through as much of this fuel as we can. Oh, drogues are out and holding. Of course they are. We are way subsonic. That was never a real fear. Whew. Thanks, Lucy. I appreciate it. No matter what happens, I trust it will be entertaining. Truth. At least I hope. Oh, that was a peg on the G's. Drogue chutes deployed. We're down to 50 meters per second. When primaries go, we'll decide if we need to jettison the heat shield before final splashdown, although we have a lot of things that we don't mind breaking between us and the crew, which are in these two thingies. So, you know, if that stuff goes, yeah, who cares? The rest of it, however, I feel like the Kraken is here. The Kraken is everywhere. The Kraken is omnipresent. Somehow end up with the crew compartment being the crumple zone for hard landings. Yeah. I feel like Somehow the Kerbals is kind of designed that way. Alright, we can bump up this time warp just a bit, at least until our next set of chute deployments. There they go. Drogues are cut, primaries are out, and we are down to 6.1 meters per second on our primaries. It looks like all have deployed successfully. Hooah! Now, is 6.1 going to be a bit too heavy? How much aerosine do we have left to bleed off? A lot. What's our total? 800 meters, so probably just go ahead and... Ah, God, I hate doing this. Jettison heat shield. Because... It's just gonna hit the ground right before we do. It's falling almost as slow as we are under parachutes. We're probably gonna come back and hit that in the butt. Just saying. We'll just hold open our thrusters until we get closer to the ground. The water, whatever it is that we're coming into, but down to 5.5. That should be well within tolerance. We'll listen for that splash, and then we'll just know. The heat shield. There's that splash. Yeah, we cleared it by about 200 meters. That's not bad. The fun part is we have to tip this over. Oh, yeah. Our emergency chutes. I forgot about those. Down to 4.4. 30 meters to impact. Let's start to lean this thing over. Oh! Invisible water. Go ahead, tip it down. Sploosh! Yes! Hooah! RCS to disarm. Invisible water. That, not quite the cinematic experience I was hoping for, but hooah, we made it. Alright, let's go ahead and undock. We're going to leave the crew here for a second and recover Odysseus first, because I want to see what the messages are. Surface of Phobos. We only get the one, but it's worth 75 science. Parts, 5,500. Cool. Why did the facility? Chestnut Block 1M, recover, please and thank you. Just want to make sure our crew gets home okay, and we've got a couple more level 3s that we can just have around. Wow, 6,097 science earned. Really? Oh yeah, they brought home some data that we couldn't run through the lab. EVA report, yeah, a bunch of stuff. Wow. Recovery of a vessel returned from a flight over Mars. 0.2 science. EVA report from Phobos' major craters, 240. Nicely done, crew. 34,000 funds recovered. How about our rank ups? Yeah. Level 3, everybody. Except for Alyssa. Yegor gets to retire at level 3. I'm glad you survived, buddy. It's good to see you. Done. Yes. Nice. Hooah. I'll call that a win. And I'll call that an episode. So thank you so much for hanging out, everybody. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.